Okay, class, welcome to the winter session. This is Wellness for Life. This is an online class, and my name is Dr. Kason O'Neill. My office, if you would like to contact me, is in, you can see on the syllabus, 216A in the mini dome. There's my phone number, extension 4632, but best to get me via email. So I do have virtual office hours that I'm basically taking all the morning times from 9 to 11 almost every single day to redo and take a look at all your work. It says Tuesdays and Thursdays on there, but anything you need, usually I'll take care of work in the morning. So just email me. I do have physical office hours, so if you would like to come see me, please arrange a meeting and we can look things up in my office, or if you need to schedule a specific appointment. The required text, as you can see, is going to be the Fit and Well text, the 11th edition. And I recently sent emails to connect you to that. You're going to go on to the class website through D2L, and in the content section, you will find the McGraw-Hill upload. You will click on the campus, and it will take you through the process. You need both the ebook and the Connect system. The Connect system is kind of where we do all our assignments, and the ebook is where you're going to do all your learning and all your reading. So moving on. The course description is very general, but we're really covering everything to do with health and wellness and personal fitness, personal wellness, and the components of being fit, being well, being healthy, and active. So you can see from the course objectives, we're going to go through a lot of different things. We're going to talk about what is wellness in general, what type of behaviors lead towards healthy, sustainable life, and you can see that you are going to do a bunch of different things. So I'm not going to go through every one of these, but we're going to talk about cardiorespiratory and fitness. We're going to talk about stress. We're going to spend a good portion of time on flexibility and muscle strength and body composition. Really kind of the major point of the first half of the class is looking at those 5 components of physical fitness, health-related physical fitness. And then we're going to move on to more nutrition-based components and looking at cardiovascular disease, as well as looking at the effects of alcohol, tobacco, and drug use on the body. So the course content section you can see is a review there of what I just stated. We're going to go through a good chunk of these, and we're going to do it pretty fast. So there's a lot of reading, and there are labs that I will address in a few minutes. So let's talk about the nuts and bolts of the class. This is an online class. You are expected to be on D2L on an almost daily basis. Now, most classes or professors in a general semester wouldn't have this requirement, but we have so much work that's done in a short period of time that you really need to be on here daily. If you have technical problems, you need to address them with myself or with OIT through ETSU. So you need to handle that immediately. As you can see, our D2L system is the next section, and this is an online class. So everything we do is online. All assignments are clearly laid out in D2L and through the Connect system. We are using the pairing of both systems, but it's pretty easy to access once you've figured it all out. All right, so now we're going to talk about the course activities and everything that's going to be due in our class. So really what you need to know. First, we're going to have 4 tests that will be given out throughout the class. These are tests through D2L. So everything will be on D2L, all 4 exams. They're all going to be open from day 1. They have no open date. You can take them whenever you want. So you can work ahead, but they do have specific due dates, and they're due each Monday throughout the course, which you will see in the calendar in a little bit. So every Monday you have one that's due. If you want to do it a couple days early, that's fine. If you want to do it a week or 2 early, that's fine. You have 1 shot to take the exam. You only have 30 minutes, so I can't say that you are allowed to use your notes if you would like to, but you're going to have a lot of information in the exam and you're not going to have time to look everything up. So you are going to have to review and study for the exam. We're going to have discussions each week. So how it's going to work is every single Friday by midnight on Friday night, you have to respond to 1 discussion each week. So you're going to have 4 discussions. It's going to be I'll have the discussions questions up on D2L. You're going to comment and reflect on the question in 1 to 2 paragraphs, and then you can submit that by Friday night. You will have from Saturday through Monday to respond on D2L to your peers' discussions. So if one of your peers wrote a paragraph discussion on what they think the benefits are to lifetime physical activity, and you saw something that was thought-provoking in their response, you are required to respond. Hey, Joe, I liked what you said here. I really agreed with point A, B, and C, and I think I would like to, and so on. So you can see you have to do 2 reflections on your peers, and those are due by Monday night as well. That's also listed in the calendar. So the other thing, bullet point 3, is going to be the Learn Smart interactive reading. This isn't just regular reading. What you're going to do is you're going to go through the Connect system, and in Learn Smart, it's going to have every chapter, all the chapters we cover in class. And it's going to take you, it's an interactive learning platform. So you're going to read and you're going to answer questions as you go. I, as the instructor, am going to see how much you've read and if you've completed it. You need to complete each chapter to 90% completion. So maybe you're taking forever, you're just not quite getting a certain chapter. Most of you will have no problem with this. That's why I put it at 90%. So it shows on my end of things how much you've read if you've done all the interactive reading. What it comes down to is you have to read the chapters. And through this Learn Smart system using Connect, I can tell what you've read. And you can access again through D2L. There are no set deadlines. So week by week, I'm not telling you when you have to read. What I'm going to do is go at the end of the semester and make sure you've read everything. So it's really only due by the end of the class. The next bullet point is going to talk about the labs. Once again, through Connect, the McGraw-Hill Connect system, there are going to be a bunch of different labs you're going to have to do. These are a lot of them are going to be great ways for you to earn points. They're going to be such things as assessing your personal wellness or your body composition, or taking a look at your local fitness center and what amenities they have. They're pretty easy assignments and they're good ways to rack up points. You can see that they're due every Tuesday of the week. Once again, that's going to be listed in the calendar. That's going to be your big take-home. It's going to be the look at the calendar. But these labs are all listed currently from day 1 in Connect. You can do them all on the first day of class if you wanted. Only looking that they're due by the due date. You can do everything in this class early, as long as everything's due by at least by the due date. And the final big chunk is going to be the writing assignment. There's going to be a writing assignment that I will discuss. It's going to be a paper, and that's going to be due by the day before class, January 15th. So you can see the grade assignments, the final breakdown of points, and that also coincides with the points in D2L. And then the grading policy, A through F, and you know how to do well. So everything is done through D2L with the submissions. So if you have issues, I would like things in Word or PDF, you can see that. If you have issues with that, please contact me. It shouldn't be an issue for most of you. That's what we deal with in most all of our other classes. And in red there, how I want files to be listed, I want it listed as last name with the underscore and then the first name. So you can see from the example, it says O'Neill dash Lab 2. That's just for example. That's not an assignment you would do, but that's how I want them to read when you upload assignments. And you're going to upload all assignments to Dropbox in D2L, as you would in all other classes. So I briefly already covered this about the exam and tests. They're going to cover the chapters in the book. They'll have a 30-minute limit, and you just need to complete them before the end date. It's really the big thing to know. And they're all online. You see 1 through 7 of these tips in taking your test. I highly recommend you don't use wireless internet. The issue, kind of the big thing take home from this 1 through 7 is that if you start an exam and your internet crashes, your wireless, and something happens, that's your one shot to take the exam. So try to get on a hardline computer if possible. come into one of the labs on campus if you need to take the exam, but you really need a secure connection for when you take your exams. And those are going to be, remember, those are due every Monday. Save your exams a lot as you're taking them, and you only have one shot to do each. They are all going to be multiple choice, true-false questions. So scrolling down to page 6, this talks about all the services we have at ETSU. I'm not going to cover all of these, but if you have special needs, the Office of Disability Services has information for you. You have OIT if you have D2L help. Technical help is all here listed for you. And this is just kind of the standard, this page is kind of the standard protocol for all classes here at ETSU for the most part. So that should be a review. And then the next page, page 7, is just going to talk about the more resources for you as the student. We have tutoring, library services for when you do your paper. They have a lot. Use the library and through their resources page to find journals. And then the next section is going to talk about academic dishonesty. We are going to be turning our papers in through Turnitin, which is a plagiarism detection software. And other than that, it's really do your own work. Don't copy things off the internet. Turnitin is going to catch all that. All right, so the important notes here in this section is looking at me as the instructor. I might change things a little bit. And if it's your responsibility to know the changes. And what that means is I'm going to email you anytime there's a change to a date, an adjustment. If we need a little bit of flexibility with something because of the holidays, you will all be notified via email. Your email is the number one contact source. I will also always put things on the news page right in the front of our D2L, but I think it's also important to get it via email. So, but this important notes just shows that I have the right to change things and that you will be notified. All right, the big page for you to look at is page 9, and that is our course calendar. So you can see the breakdown of everything we have in this class. And it's going to start off on the first day. On Wednesday, you're going to take a look at the syllabus. You're going to listen to this recording and have questions. And we start right off. Every Friday night, you're going to have a discussion due. Every Friday night, there's a discussion due. And you can see from week to week, these are the exact same. Everything is the same from week to week. So starting with week 2, you can see on Monday, your responses are due. You have to respond to 2 of your peers. Your exam is due, and it's suggested, remember it's not required till the end of the semester, but it's suggested that you do the reading on chapters 1 through 3. And your labs are due on Tuesdays, and those are all through Connect. And you can see this repeats over and over and over for the entire course. The one major point that I want to look at is Sunday, the 28th of December. You have to submit via D2L just your topic for the paper, which I will discuss more at length in other communication. So you just have to submit some topic. The paper is going to be on anything you want in the book, any topics that's interest of you in the book, and something that you want to go explore. It's really, I'm leaving it up to you, something that's interesting to you, but the topic is due to D2L by the 28th. Other than that, everything else is the same throughout the semester until we get to the final week, week 5. And then you can see that on your last exam will be Monday, the 12th of January. So you'll be done with exams, you'll be done with peer responses, discussions, all that will be due and done on the 12th. On the 13th, you'll have your last labs due. Remember, you can do all of this early if you'd like to. But you do have your final paper that is due Thursday the 15th, due by just before midnight on Thursday. And then I'm going to go in on on Connect on the very last day of class on the 16th and make sure you've done all your reading. That's it for this. And if you have any questions, I will be here. And please email me at o'neillkm.etsu.edu. Thank you.